We are at proclamations. Do you have one? I don't have any here. So there aren't any proclamations for today. We will now move to Roman numeral 3 for petitions and communications. We have speakers who are on the agenda. Would want the speakers to know, I will call you up. You have 5 minutes to give your concerns, and you would begin by stating your name and your address. And we have the time, and he's going to keep up with the time on it. Our first speaker is Ms. Patricia Parker, and concerned citizens regarding the state of the city. Okay.
Hello.
Yes,
My name
ma'am.
is Patricia Parker. I reside at 2638 15th Street in Port Arthur, and 5 minutes might not be enough time for us. I have concerned citizens that are also here in behalf of the things that I put on the flyers for the agenda. We've got some serious issues in Port Arthur, and we're just kind of tired of having our streets like it is. I've been living at 2638 15. I've owned that home for 45 years. The sewer has been collapsed in that alley, and due to technical difficulties, I had a flash drive that was going to show a bunch of pictures and water. They tore the alley up, didn't refinish it. Every time it rains, it floods. I've called and called. But first of all, before I get started, Lindsay, you're able to do that? I'd like for you guys to see this video.
And that's giving up something of value for something else that is deemed more important and worthy. Unfortunately, there are communities across America that are being sacrificed for something not so noble and not so just, but for oil and greed. My community is one of those unfortunate communities that are being sacrificed. Port Arthur, Texas. I was diagnosed with asthma and allergies at the age of 6, but it wasn't just me who had asthma and suffering and couldn't breathe. It was my friends and family as well, who we were worried about all the time. But that was our life. That's what we, that was just normal for us. Port Arthur, Texas is home to the largest oil refinery in the United States of America. Since it is such a large refinery, we're always emitting benzene and other carcinogenics into our environment all the time, which puts us at another issue on the front line of climate change. By current projections, my hometown will be underneath water, or almost underneath water by 2100. In 2005, Hurricane Rita hit my hometown. But what hurricanes do is that they erode that natural marshland barriers. So then Hurricane Ike hit in 2008, and then by the time Hurricane Harvey hit in 2017, that marshland was basically gone. So that water had nowhere to go but inland, and my hometown went underwater. So it was this very wide swath of all of these refineries just closing down really fast, putting all this pollution and, again, cancer-causing agents into our air, our water, our environment. We'll never know how much the environment got affected that day. This is why I and my amazing coworkers are fighting what we are fighting for right now. Our communities are worth fighting for.
This young lady worked in Washington, was born and raised in Port Arthur, and was buried in December. This is her mother. Just want to say a little something about it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gussy Kohi. I live at 3820 36th Street in Port Arthur. I've been here basically all my life. I taught in Port Arthur School District for 46 years. Yes, my daughter relocated to Washington, D.C., and she ended up working at LCV, which is the League of Conservation of Voters, which promotes climate change. And anyway, she ended up, her body was invaded by pancreatic cancer. She was a healthy young lady, going about business. She was at the prime of her life. And we decided to fight the cancer. Washington, D.C., the hospital did not service her body well. They did not give her the attention she needed, so we decided to uproot. She decided to uproot and come to her hometown, which is Port Arthur, Texas, and to come to MD Anderson for the best help in this country. Well, it was a battle. We fought it together. She lived. She fought it. They told her she only had 6 months to live at that time, but she ended up living and fighting it for about 4 years. I didn't feel the pain, but I'm her mother, and I was there with her at every possible turn that God allowed us to endure. She was a strong person. She was my hero. She wrote. I raised her to be a strong young woman, but she ended up being my woman king. She fought this with all her might. But she was the data director over climate change at LCV. This cancer has many possible causes. One is chemical exposure to chemicals used in dry cleaning, metalworking, or pesticides and petrochemicals over time can increase the risk of pancreatic cancer. And most of the effects are with men and African Americans over 65. African Americans more than white people, but my daughter was a young black woman. And this took her life on this earth. But she fought it. It did not take her spirit, and it did not take her soul. I miss her dearly. She was a jewel, a fight on this earth. And I thank you all for listening to me, and I hope that something can be done about this. I know that we depend on the petrochemical industry. My father moved here when I was a baby, 72 years ago, to work at Gulf Oil. But I hope that something can be done about the emissions of the chemicals. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Gus. Okay. You know, we're kind of concerned because we hear that the plants in this area, and of course we all the world here, and most of us have lived here all our lives. I got a home, I ain't got nowhere else to go. I'm gonna be 66 years old in October. But we feel like the money that they put out, that they give, I heard it was some millions that when they let out these emissions, and they do it at night. Forgive me for I had technical difficulty, but I even had some pictures of some of the stuff being let out at night, and I can get it to you guys later, but it's too long, too many people dying. But you take the money and you say you're going to put it back in the infrastructure, but our streets, our sewers. I got a water bill here that I went to pay today. I used $13 worth of water. But my water bill is $60. $20 for trash. I had pictures also. Trash that's been sitting around the city for months. What are y'all doing with the money? It's not going back in the infrastructure because every street we run down has torn up our cars. You know, We got potholes. We got erosion. It's ridiculous. And we got city workers sitting in the alley chilling in the shade. If they need to be trained, if you need to hire other people, then we need to do what we need to do. But there's a bunch of people in here that came to represent what I'm saying, because we're just really tired of it. A lot of times we don't make council meetings, but you guys know yourself. I heard y'all took $4 million to fix woodwork from one end to Proctor. What's good in fixing that street that wasn't even torn up as bad as the streets in between? What are y'all gonna do? It's clear that y'all do not care about your citizens. They closed up, excuse me, let me finish. They closed up the sewer line where they were working in the back of my alley, where water and the sewer was backing up, because they said they had to contract it out. I've been calling them since General Land Office built my home. I've been calling. They come, they leave the tops off, they don't clean it out. I ask them to let me know when they're there. They never do. You know, you got people that's not doing anything, but who's responsible for looking after that? You know, it's not fair to us as citizens to get a water bill and all the trash. I had a home built. It hadn't been 3 years. There was so much trash in the water line because of the backup in the sewer. I had to change the whole kitchen faucet because the water wouldn't come through. Not only me, but several other people that I know. It's coming out of the water lines. Another thing are the abandoned houses. I have one next to mine that's been abandoned since Harvey, and there's nothing but critters living in there. Nobody's, going. The city sends somebody out to cut the yard, and they just chop over it. They don't do anything as far as breaking it up. They wait till it get this high, and all that goes on my side of the property, and I keep my property straight. But you got all these abandoned houses that nobody's tending to. Rodents. You got ditches that haven't been dug, and I just wished I'd have had my pictures. You got ditches that haven't been dug. Water's not going through to the end of the block where it's supposed to drain out. The drains are all broken up and tore up. But the money's going back in the infrastructure, and we're living like this. Also, there are parks where our kids are supposed to play in. They're not taken care of properly. Each park, like other cities, should have a building on there. If they want to have a function, we don't have a building for them to do any type of functions at. Our major parks, Gillum Circle, 503, places for kids to play. The mosquito man comes by. When we were kids, if some of y'all can remember, the fog was so thick to fog up the mosquito. We running behind and playing in the fog. Now you get a puff. Piss the mosquitoes off. That's no good. They just breed more. So where's the money going for stuff like that? You got kids on the street. They either shooting each other up, fighting, cutting each other, or everybody want to be a drug dealer. Why? We don't have nothing for these kids to do. Where are our youth centers? You could add jobs for people who don't have. You got retired teachers that would be glad to teach these kids computer skills. But you guys, where's the money going? You got positions I can't understand. I think Mr. Burton is a great city manager. So why we got 2 assistants? Where's the money going in salaries that are not necessary? That's what we feel. We're not seeing Port Arthur is one of the richest area because of y'all giving Texaco and them subsidies, and we dying. Nothing for our citizens. Nothing for the youth. Everybody gonna be a chemist or a dope dealer because they don't have nothing to do. There's no lifeguards at the pool. We can't even open the pool for our kids to go to. That's a job for somebody. I know every citizen in Port Arthur cannot pass a drug test, please. Cannot get employed, cannot be trained. We need some help, you guys. We got street lights that are out. I'm scared to walk to the corner store, especially now, because you know I'll fight. But I need you guys to help us. Everybody that's concerned with what I'm saying and agree with what I'm saying, would you stand? Who all is here in behalf of this? Those are my sons right there. You remember when the street was so dusty and we moved on the west side and you guys didn't even want to pave the street. Y'all want to move our house. The same house and kids living in now. Because Port Iron, with all of that, I mean, there's snakes coming from back there. There's stuff all around that you guys are just letting go. Somebody needs to be responsible. Y'all need to take a look at this. We want to live better. We want our kids to live better. My mama died of lung problems and never drank or smoked a day in her life. These emissions are killing us. This is the highest risk cancer. So what you gonna do? If you ain't putting it back in the infrastructure, I propose that every registered citizen get a check when y'all get it. Since y'all don't know what to do with it, we would. We know what to do with it. We can buy more filters. We can get air purifiers. We can do something.
Okay.
Thank you guys for listening.
Just a minute. So you're through, but now some council persons want to make some remarks to you. So I want you to view, man.
I'm ready to listen.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem, your light was first.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much for your presentation. I want to kind of start backwards. You mentioned street lights. When you have a street light that's out anywhere in your neighborhood, whether it's a street light that's on the street or it's a security light at someone's home, you can go on the Entergy website and there's a way for you to report it. And within 48 hours, they're supposed to take care of it. Now, if they don't within 48 hours, contact your council person, okay? The contact that I have at Entergy is, he's quick. I can email him and tell him, hey, we've got this, this, and this, and within about 24 hours, he's on it, okay? And then I also want to just say, ma'am, my condolences to you for your daughter. The first 21 years of my life, I was exposed to asbestos in my household, and now I'm almost 60, and I just found out recently that I've got some health issues because of that exposure. So we're all with you. We're all in the same place. Those of you, all of us that grew up in Port Arthur, we're all there. And I have people ask me all the time. I've been on council for almost a year. I was sworn in last July 7th, I believe. I have people ask me all the time, why does Port Arthur not look like Mont Belvieu? Have y'all drove through Mont Belvieu? Mont Belvieu is beautiful. They have got infrastructure like you would not believe. They've got businesses. It's booming. It's beautiful. They don't have the income from industry that we have. Mm-hmm. We've got the largest petrochemical company in the United States, or in the world, right here. Why do our streets look like what they look like? I don't know. I don't have the answer for that yet. I'm still a baby council person. I've only been here for a year, and I'm trying to figure that out too, because that's a problem. Why are we spending $14 million on Woodworth Boulevard when people in Port Acres and on the west side can't drive down their
Thank
streets. So I'm with you. I sympathize with you. And I appreciate y'all being here and pointing that out for us. I really do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Doucette.
I don't have to say too much because what you said was right on point. You know, and as a council member, and I hear it, I understand. You know, we are accountable to you, and we should do that. I think what we need to do as a council, we need to just take what you said today, and we need to really apply it in the sense of setting priorities. I think what has happened, we have went astray from priorities. You mentioned some of the things that are priorities. Streets, sewage, garbage and trash picked up, water bill. I've said it since I first got on council in 2011 when I really found out how to be a good councilman and make everybody in the city think you're good as a council. Take care of those 4 things. Because those are the only things you all really pay for. You know, it's not complimentary. Y'all actually pay for those things I just named. Mm-hmm. And if we did that, we could just blow all the millions of dollars and y'all wouldn't even be affected. So I think it's us getting back to getting focused, going back to the priorities, and understand that we're not going to change it overnight. But if we start doing it, you all will see that we're doing it, and then you all will be more agreeable that we are doing something about it. So I hear what you're saying, and that's something that I'm going to strive to do is keep pushing that we do priorities, and we stick with the priorities. Don't let people take us off line, okay? But I really appreciate that. I preach for people to come and hold us accountable. And everything you said was the truth. And I agree. I'm going to try to do my part to change it.
Please.
But bring people, like you say, stand up, hold us accountable. And when we don't do it, then we need to be replaced. Because these seats, they're not ours. They're yours. We do what you want us to do. And when we're not doing that, we're not doing what you elected us to do. I just appreciate your presentation today. It was very straightforward, to the point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Frank.
Thank you. I appreciate your coming before us today, and I am so grateful that you came and said all of the things that you are saying. As you were talking about ditch excavations, and as you were talking about sewage, as you're talking about drainage, since I became a councilman, those have been the things that I've been talking about the city, talking to the city manager about to make sure that those things happen. Right now, one of the things that we're getting ready to do is the drainage on the west side on 17, 18, and 19. That $2 million appropriation is about to happen. So we are doing infrastructure because there was always flooding on West 19th Street. That project is about to take off and to begin. So we're taking infrastructure. There's money that has been sent for infrastructure. But let me say this, but because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening and transpiring. Let me explain to you what I'm saying. There's so much infrastructure beneath the ground. When we go to fix a street, because the infrastructure has not been touched for over 50 years, when they dig up the streets, when they dig up the street to fix it, they find so much other stuff that's underneath it, which creates more and more difficulty. I'm not giving you a justification. I'm simply sharing information because information is power. And so when we say those things, we understand that infrastructure is happening. And Atlanta Valve, I never knew what an Atlanta valve was until I got on city council. But the Atlanta valve had to be changed out because if it wasn't, all of the water that you use south of Highway 73 would have been cut off. Then we would have really understood what's happening and transpiring. I'm not trying to in any way deflect, because I can appreciate, because I'm a citizen as well. I can appreciate all of what you said, and I concur. There are so many things that need to be fixed. As a council member, one of the things that I have said and transpired, and I kind of stand by it, is this, that yes, we have to fix infrastructure, but we have to walk and chew gum at the same time. And so when we are doing other things, or when we're putting forth other projects, don't take it as in some way, shape, form, or fashion we don't hear your voice. We hear your voice. We respect your voice. We appreciate your voice. But we're trying to move Port Arthur to the place where it will be Mount Bellevue, where individuals will want to come in and open up new businesses, like we're trying to do on Pleasure Island with a $140 million water park, because we have to move past just being a city that does oil, but moves into a place where we do recreation and where we can be a destination spot as well. I'm not deflecting. I appreciate what you've said. I understand what you've said. And each and every day, this council, and I believe the city manager and the staff, are moving to make Port Arthur better. So pray for us, pray with us, work together with us. We're trying to do all that we can. I've talked to the city manager about excavation of ditches and putting that on a schedule. I've talked to the city manager about so many other things, sewage and all of those things. Those are things we are seeking to take care of, and we are trying to be as responsive as we can. Thank you. I appreciate you listening.
Thank you. Can I just say
ma'am, but I'm sorry. No, ma'am, I'm going to let you come back. No, ma'am, I'm going to let you come back. It's now 6:02. We have a public hearing that has to begin at 6 o'clock. Just if you would just be so kind, I'm going to call you back as soon as we complete the public hearing. If you retire,
I just got one thing to say about what he said.
Okay, but
that is that let the buck stop here. Yeah, the city does receive funds to take care of things that are already here.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Parker.
Ms.
Parker, I'm going to call you back.
Ms.
Parker, please.
Let it stop.
Please,
here.
Ms. Parker.
Things that they should have been doing, they need to continue. They need
Ms.
to
Parker,
do it.
please.
No problem.
Thank you.
But
thank you. I'm going to call you back. Don't leave. I'm going to call you back. Thank you.
I've been working with this for a while.
Thank you. All right. Now, we have Ms. Parker. You did return. Would you come back, Ms. Parker? Now, what we've done, Ms. Parker, and I actually did it without even asking the council, but I believe that everybody on the council would approve your extended period of time. You've gone about 24 minutes, I believe, and you were supposed to do 5. But gone about 24 minutes. But Councilman Lewis had something for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so you mentioned about the sewer line in the back of your home. You at 2638?
15.
Let me give you my boundaries. From District 1 is from 19th Street to the Intercoastal Canal. From Sabine Pass to 9th Avenue and up to come back to Crockett up to Stadium Road. So anybody lives in that area, my phone number is 409-718. I'll give you a call. Okay. I'll give you a call. 409-718-0586. That's my territory. Land-wise, it's half of the city. Okay, I'm 12 miles down the road. But you need to call me, and you're not that far from where I live, and I'll be there tomorrow. And I saw that Calvin been talking to you.
Yes. He gave me his
okay,
card.
so it sounds like you got a history with that sewer line, with Calvin them and the young man sitting next to him. Okay.
Yeah, I just met him, and
they will
seems
take
like
care
he's
of you.
Concerned.
If you got a history with it, it sounds like you need to replace it. Those two guys will take care of it. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
So anytime you got a problem, just call me.
Give me that card.
Okay. again, to finalize this, Ms. Parker, we thank you for your presentation. I want to assure you that it's not what you've done, what you've said, and to the group of individuals who have accompanied you here on this evening. It hasn't fallen on deaf ears, okay? I want you to know that we understand your passion, and it was actually shown, demonstrated in your presentation, which was supposed to, it began just as a speaker, then it became a presentation, okay? But we, thank you for that. The next item is on Mrs. Kohi, and I'm glad that you remained. I can remember when you began your career in PAISD, and you even taught my oldest daughter kindergarten at Booker Washington. Second grade, okay. Yes, Ms. Rogers was the kindergarten, okay. But we appreciate that, and to see your child on there, it touched my heart. And again, I'll follow Mayor Pro Tem's extending condolences again, because I've never lost a child, but it's probably just like a parent. The pain never actually goes away. I could probably be assured of that. And we appreciate your boldness to come up and to make the remarks that you did. And to each of you who have come out in support of what Ms. Parker was actually presenting, we appreciate your time and your concern, and we understand your passion by being present here. But again, I want you to know that it hasn't fallen on deaf ears. Now, Ms. Parker, I have to express something about one statement that you did make.
Yes, sir.
When you gave the accolades to the city manager, I think they were correct and proper. Yet I believe you went a little further when you made maybe some inference of the assistance, and if I'm not, I hope I'm recalling incorrectly, but you were saying that they may have been drawing a salary. If I thought that, I need to be corrected, but he has those assistants who do a great job in being sure that the divisions that they actually spearhead and manage for the city manager are actually done in the proper way. So cities our size in 2024 have a chief executive who has assistants. And sometimes folks like to make the comparative analysis with Port Arthur and Beaumont. So we're together on that because Beaumont has a city manager and 2 or 3 assistants. So in Port Arthur, we have a city manager and we have 2 assistants. So I just want to say that it's not that they or he is doing something and they are just twiddling their thumbs for whatever. So, but you made a great presentation. We thank you for it. And the next time you come, get with the city secretary if you don't be longer than 5 minutes and try to justify the other time, okay?
This is not my first big job. I was here a year or 2 ago.
I remember.
And y'all told me 5 minutes. And I stayed 45.
I remember.
And
I remember.
had to tell you guys to, kill the questions
I
because
remember.
I was tired. But I did want to go back to what Reverend Donald Frank said. Some of this stuff, like when you go deeper and you find worse stuff, that's because stuff hadn't been maintained on a normal basis anyway. I was told that these sewer lines had to be cleaned out every so often. We don't see nobody back there doing that. The last time I addressed y'all, I look back and I say, we the people, and it wasn't nobody but my baby daddy and my baby. Have a few more people now and a whole lot of other people that were supposed to be here. And there is strength in numbers, but they worked on the sewer lines and the ditches for about 2 weeks, and then it was over. Yeah. So we need some consistency here. We need people to be proud of Port Arthur. Port Arthur used to be the all-American city.
Yeah. We were kids, yeah.
Yeah. Boy, Ike and Tina Turner, James Brown, all of them was across Pleasure Island. And I remember going on the ferry, you know, the town was booming. But look at it, it's a ghost town. But there's still money here that should be appropriated. Not even Mount Bellevue. Needland and Port Neches look better than we look.
Okay. Well, yes, ma'am. We accept that.
Just stay on the job, or I'll be back.
Yes, ma'am. And I want you to know that your sewer problem, I was called about it by one of your neighbors, because you're still on 15th. I was aware of it. I think at that time I spoke with Calvin, and they went out, checked it, because I understand the perception. And there's one other thing that you said, that I don't think the city workers sit in the alley chilling in the trucks. No, I have to say that because I understand what everybody's saying, but you see, they work for our city manager. They work for us in this city, okay? And sometimes when you see them waiting, but wait a minute, but sometimes when you see them waiting, and that's a job site, they're waiting for someone else from another department or another agency to come and do what they need to do so that they can proceed with their work, okay? I just wanted to bring it up.
Presented you with what we're concerned about. Let's see some.
Yes, ma'am. I understand that, but I want you to know that we don't just have them sitting around and their supervisors are not aware that they're not working. Okay, but we appreciate your passion and your concern. Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have Richard and Claudette Bowden regarding the Port Arthur Youth Tennis